Welcome to a special edition of Southwestern Spotlight. I'm Stephen Snyder. I'm here today in the School of Education in the pre-K room with the director of the program, Dr. YeVette McWhorter. Dr. McWhorter, it's good to have you today. And we're just going to talk about the program. We're here in one of the classrooms. But to start, I wanted to ask you a little bit about yourself and maybe how you or how long you've been here with this program.
I've been at Georgia Southwestern for 14 years, but I've been the director of the pre-K. This is my 5th year. The pre-K is under the umbrella of the School of Ed, and then we're also involved with Right from the Start, which is our state agency.
What the program here is lottery funded by the state of Georgia. Right. What is the overall premise of the program? I guess the purpose behind it, why it was started.
Okay. One thing about pre-K is it's all based on developmentally appropriate practice. So one of the things we try to help the children do is to learn how to be a child that goes to school. Right. So there's a lot of socialization and there's a lot of emergent literacy. We start teaching them math concepts. It's helping them learn to be a learner, so when they go to kindergarten they're ready to go. And in our pre-K, we try to make sure that we're also helping our parents learn to be a parent of a school-age child. And so we spend a lot of time being a support for the family. Often we have young parents who this is their first child to go to school. They're not quite sure how to work all that out, and so we try to be a resource for that. We try to make sure that the whole family knows that they're part of our Georgia pre-K.
When did this particular program begin? I know that the lottery-funded education programs, Hope Scholarship, Hope Grant, pre-K program have been around for almost 20 years. How long has Georgia Southwestern?
We were one of the first classrooms. Okay. There was a school here prior to that, but we started in one of the first sections, I believe in '94, and we have been continuous since that time. One of our teachers has been here 11 years, and our other teacher has been here 5 years, so we have a lot of continuity from year to year. We have a lot of repeat customers. Their older brother or sister came to school. Or an older cousin came to school. So it really has become a family enterprise from brother to sister, one family to the next family.
And you talked about the transition for parents to bringing their kids here. A lot of times it's their first school. Could you talk maybe a little bit about that transition? I know a lot of parents out there in this community may wonder what exactly goes on here and what some of the things that they think their kid, they think their kid is obviously their kid is unique.
Right.
Their child is unique, but those uniquenesses you see every day. Right. in 4-year-olds.
Well, one of the things that we focus on is first to reassure parents that there are some very predictable behaviors of 4-year-olds. We see it all the time. For instance, 4-year-olds don't like to share.
Right.
And so one of the things we work on very early on is learning to share. Often a child will be used to, they're the only child in the house, so they don't have to share, they don't have to wait for anyone, and that's one of the skills that we work on. The way the classroom is set up, you'll notice there are different sections of the classroom. There's a block center, there's a housekeeping center, we have an art center, a science center, and part of the interactions in the classroom is children will work in these centers, and one of the things they have to learn is how to work with each other. Right. And how to share, which is a very hard skill for a 4-year-old to learn. Some pick up on it very quickly, and some at the end of the year we're still working on it. But it's much better to learn, to build something together and have to share than for an adult to say you need to share. And so we're very interactive. They'll work, and the teachers will monitor, and we help them with the language to learn how to share and how to talk to another person to get your way rather than to grab a toy or to hit or whatever.
Right.
So that's what these centers are for. They have that center time every day, and it really helps develop those skills to be a social person. And also it develops that communication skill. How do I talk to someone? How do I negotiate? And so we start those skills at 4 in this environment.
With the children that come here who, like you said, 4-year-olds or 4-year-olds.
Right.
What is a typical transition development period where a kid may not be used to sharing or even communicating with other kids their age? Some don't have those surroundings. What's a normal time frame there?
Usually, well, we find that within the first month of school, we have most children to the point where they're at least thinking about, I'm going to share it, just make my life easier and my friends next to me life easier.
Right.
And kids are very smart, and they realize maybe if I talk a certain way, I can get my way. Right. Which is what a 4-year-old wants anyway.
Right.
So we start the first day talking, how do we talk to each other so we can all get along? We are a family in this classroom. And so the way the day is set up, we have some large group time. You'll see that here, this is where they always go back to kind of start, and we get centered here. And then we'll go to the rug and we'll have a story all together. And then we'll break out into small groups, and we'll go to these tables and we'll work in small groups. And then the teacher might work with someone individually. But there's a lot of small group work, and we start that at the very beginning. And with a lot of coaching about how to, even sit next to someone in the classroom. Right. And how to, there's only 5 of these, and we can't all grab one of these at one time. So it looks, from the outside, it's almost so subtle. Sometimes you can't tell, but you'll feel like after that first month, you can almost feel that transition of they're getting along a little bit better. And then we notice that when children come back after Christmas, there's this huge leap in maturity. We're always talking about how they seem so different. It was so subtle that they were growing and developing that we didn't notice it till they were gone for a few weeks.
Right.
And then they come back and it's like you have this very mature child that was happening all along. And one of the things we notice with 4-year-olds is their behavior at school is not always the same behavior that is at home. Because it's not necessarily peer pressure, but they want to be like other children. They want another child to like them, and they learn early on to get that other child to like me, I have to be nice to them.
Right.
Which is a great skill.
And in this, they learn to compromise.
They do learn to compromise. They also learn very quickly is that, there's a leader in this classroom, and that's their classroom teacher and their assistant teacher. And in the Georgia pre-K classrooms, there are always 2 adults in the classroom, a lead teacher and an assistant teacher. We are very lucky. In this classroom, our lead teacher and our assistant teacher both have one has a bachelor's degree in early childhood, one has a bachelor's. In our other classroom, our lead teacher has a bachelor's degree, and our assistant teacher has like 20 years of working with young children. Wow. So we have a very consistent staff here, which makes it a lot easier being the director when you have a very consistent staff. And our teachers are graduates of Georgia Southwestern.
Right. And we'll talk about the training of those teachers here in a minute, but they are all qualified to test as teachers.
They're certified by the state of Georgia.
Right. And in the spirit of transition for kids coming in and learning, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
And we'll be back in a minute with Southwestern Spotlight here on Georgia Southwestern's campus.
Shelters are the best places to find a new pet.
What a perfectly beautiful little lady.
That's where you'll discover healthy, loyal, and loving animals.
You little rascal.
Eager to become a part of your family. A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet.
Oh, ladies first.
Be that person. Adopt.
This is living. Hey, kid.
To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it. Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell him.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
persuasive.
Yes.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Ever wondered how to choose the right college? It's simple. Type Georgia Southwestern in the search bar on your Mac, PC, laptop, or mobile device. Select gsw.edu. Browse the site to see all of the exciting opportunities that Georgia Southwestern State University has to offer. Return to the homepage, select Apply, submit your credentials, and see yourself at Southwestern. Georgia Southwestern State University. Excellence at the right price.
Welcome back to Southwestern Spotlight. I'm Stephen Snyder, and today I'm with Dr. YeVette McWhorter with the Georgia Southwestern State University Pre-K program, and we're actually on location here in the School of Education building, and you've got classrooms here specifically for the Pre-K program. Dr. McWhorter, when we took the break, we were talking about the teachers in this program and the fact that there are 2 teachers in each classroom and that they're trained like any other teacher. They have the same qualifications, same certifications as any other teacher.
Laura Rooks is one of our teachers, and Jessica Woodard is our other teacher, and they are both certified by the state of Georgia. They both have a lot of experience working with young children, and of course we're very proud of them because they went through our program. We feel like they're very well trained.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to say, you know, the pre-K classrooms here at Georgia Southwestern also serves as sort of a lab school for our students that are in the early childhood program and sometimes in the special education program. We have field students in here, and we have student teachers periodically. So it's nice that we have an on-site school that we can, you know, if we talk about something in a literacy class and it's early literacy, we can bring the class over here and they can try it out and see if it works or if it doesn't work with a real child.
Right.
It gives a nice sense to the building to have a classes and children in the school. You know, since it is a school of ed, it feels very authentic to have school-age children in the building.
It's a working building.
It's a working building. It's the hardest working building on campus.
I don't think you'd have any arguments there. This program is unique. It's state funded through the lottery program, but it's unique because of the size of the rooms and the fact that there are 2 of them, and you have your own playground here. I guess touch on some of that uniqueness.
Well, for one thing, we're big in a small way. We have only 2 classrooms, but our classrooms are double classrooms. And so if you went into another public school, a classroom would be the half of this size. So it really allows for a lot of motion in the classroom for an easy transition from point A to point B. It also allows for a lot of room to display student work. We're not all crammed in here. And we have only 2 classrooms. We have a very nice large playground area, fenced playground area. That is very well stocked. It has a large sand area. We have our own boat. We have things that the children can play on, climb up in and hide in and dig in and all those things that 4-year-olds like to do. We're very, when people come to visit here from other schools, they're always very envious of the space that we have. And as you can see, if you look around the room, we have a lot of our students' work, and then we have a lot of stories that we use for the children to start their emergent literacy, to start reading with predictable text.
Right. Can you describe what goes on in the typical day here in the pre-K program?
We start with a large group activity, and that would be in this circle, and we start with calendar time. And we have the calendar at the front. We have a calendar helper each day. And we work on basic skills like, what is the month? We're spelling out the month. We work on the pattern. You'll see there's patterns, like this time we have a rainbow, shamrock, rainbow. And we're helping students develop the pattern. That's a pre-math skill that we start the first day of school. We start working on letter sounds and rhyming words, and all of that is that early, that's our first activity. It helps everybody get settled down a little bit.
Right.
Also, if a child's a little bit late, that gives us a chance before we start our small group work, which is over here, which is when we really work with, we'll have 4 groups going at once, and the assistant teacher will work with a group, the teacher will work with a group, and 2 will be somewhat independent. Of course, in this close proximity, they're being watched. We'll do the small group work, and then we always come back here and get settled back down, center ourselves a little bit. We have large motor activities where we do a lot of singing and clapping and dancing, often to letters of sounds of words, because we're really trying to get them to start hearing sounds so they can get ready to read.
Right.
And then we have the large group time where we call it center time, where they're working in these large centers. Once again, we come back, we have another literacy activity. We have some outside time. We have lunch time, we have rest time, we have another large activity at the end of the day. We try to have at least 2 or 3 literacy activities during the day, and usually 1 also in the small group. So it's a large group, small group, large group, small group, to kind of a lot of movement back and forth, because 4-year-olds need to move around a lot.
And how many students are in each class?
We have 22. We have 22 students maximum in each classroom with 2 adults.
And that's a state regulation?
That's a state regulation. We're funded for 22, and all lottery program 4Ks are free for students to attend. We pay for supplies. We do everything for them. Our students bring their lunch, and that's about it.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What's required of them? Doesn't sound like very much.
Students have to bring their lunch. Since we're such a small school, we don't have a cafeteria.
Right.
So they bring their lunch, and they bring a snack, and they bring a blanket for their nap.
Okay.
And other than that, we provide almost everything here. Sometimes we ask for like a contribution of a Clorox wipes or something like that, but it's a free, no tuition to attend the Georgia Southwestern Preschool.
And when does a day start and when does a day end?
Children can arrive as early as 7:50 in the morning, and the day starts at 8:10. We finish at 2:20 in the afternoon, and children are picked up between 2:20 and 2:40. We have a lot of parents who, they get together and they carpool, and so many of them are just providing transportation 1 day a week. Some of the daycare centers will run a bus through here and pick up children as well. But that's the length of a day. It's a 6.5-hour day as mandated by the state. Next year we'll attend school 180 days.
Okay.
That's also determined someplace else. And we run our calendar fairly close to Georgia Southwestern's, but we also take into account area schools, their calendar, and we try to bridge all of those. So if a parent has a child in a couple of different schools, there's some days that they're all off at the same time.
Right. Well, let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned using this as a training facility for upcoming teachers. In a normal year, how many Georgia Southwestern early childhood students are participate in hours here, their student teaching and whatnot?
For field experience, we usually have probably, sometimes we have up to 10 a semester, but it's usually 5 to 10 students per semester that are housed here. And then we usually have every year at least 1 or 2 student teachers that are trained here with our teachers. And then of course we still have professors bringing students in on a periodic basis.
Right.
But we have, we don't, everyone kind of wants to be in here to be trained, but we can't have more adults than we do children.
Right.
But we try to rotate it through, so we have at least a student teacher once a year.
Okay.
Because this is such a good training. Of course, sometimes, after they're trained here, they're in this big room with all these supplies and all this action going on. It's hard to go to a smaller room.
Right, right. Well, Dr. McWhorter, thank you so much for standing with me today. I was going to say sitting.
That's okay.
So it's a really neat program, and I'm glad that we've got it here, and I know that you do a great job. And we look forward to working with you in the future with this program, and hopefully it will be a success for years to come. So thank you again.
Thank you for thinking of us and coming over and seeing our school today.
Absolutely. Well, that does it for this episode of Southwestern Spotlight. Please tune in again next time.